Last time on Say Less I Love You.
I gave you everything, Jacob, but now I'm taking it all back.
You've proven yourself worthy of the Swan legacy. Join me fully, and I'll give you everything you've ever wanted.
A real father wouldn't ask his daughter to sacrifice her soul for his revenge fantasy.
Marcus Swan has always chosen money over family. Always will.
Something's wrong with me.
They want to see a power-hungry monster? I'll show them one.
Whatever was between us died when I was poisoned.
I became everything I hated to save you, and now you're gone anyway.
Nyla Thomas thought she was getting a simple fake marriage.
If I marry you, will you save my granddaddy?
Yes. All you have to do is say I do.
But things got a lot more complicated than a simple wedding.
Neuromax isn't working. Your grandfather won't survive.
You were supposed to marry me, Jacob.
And Nyla has been met with the ultimate consequences.
He took all of her money and left.
How am I going to pay my bills?
We aren't sure what happened to him, but it doesn't look good for Mr. Stone.
While love is struggling to find its place, it's time to find out.
Alexander, no, it won't work.
There's a lot you don't know about me, Laurie.
I still love you. I always have.
If Nyla can pick up the pieces of the Stone Empire.
Chapter 245. Alexander. I check my watch as the carriage rolls to a stop outside Laurie's apartment building. Perfect timing. The sky blazes orange and pink as the sun begins its descent behind the Manhattan skyline. Your chariot awaits, I call out as she emerges from the building. Her eyes widen at the sight of the white carriage, complete with a matching pair of horses. Alexander, what is this? Laurie asks, a smile tugging at her lips despite her obvious attempt to maintain composure. You've been working too hard. Time for a proper evening out. I help her up into the carriage, enjoying how her emerald dress catches the fading sunlight. The horses' hooves clip-clop against the pavement as we wind through the city streets. Strings of twinkling lights dance through the trees in Central Park, casting a magical glow over everything. I can't believe I've lived here my whole life and never done this. Laurie muses, taking in the scenery. Want to know a secret? I lean in close. Neither have I. Always thought these things were pretty damn cheesy. She arches an eyebrow. And now? Now I'm with you, so it's perfect. I catch her hand in mine, brushing my thumb across her knuckles. Smooth talker, she teases, but doesn't pull away. Only for you. The carriage rounds another corner as the last rays of sun paint the clouds in brilliant hues. Besides, I figured we both needed a break from all the hospital drama. You're not wrong there. Laurie sighs, some of the tension finally leaving her shoulders as she relaxes into the moment. The lights twinkle above us like stars as we continue our journey through the park, leaving the chaos of recent events behind, if only for one enchanted evening. I can't help but get pleasure from the look on her face when she first sees the restaurant. The elevator doors open to reveal the glittering expanse of Manhattan spread out below us. I guide Laurie to our private table near the window, positioned perfectly to catch the rotating view. This is breathtaking, she gasps, taking in the sparkling cityscape. Wait until you try the food. I pull out her chair. I took the liberty of ordering ahead. Her eyes light up as the first course arrives. Butter poached lobster, her favorite. How did you know? I pay attention. I pour us each a glass of champagne. Plus, I may have bribed one of the other nurses for intel. Sneaky. She takes a sip, studying me over the rim of her glass. You're full of surprises tonight. The violinists approach, their melody weaving through the ambient restaurant noise. Laurie's face softens at the familiar tune. Is that? At last. You hum it sometimes during your rounds. She shakes her head, impressed. You really do pay attention. The soft glow of candlelight dances across Laurie's face as I find myself sharing stories I've kept locked away for years. Something about her quiet attentiveness draws them out of me. My father owned this tiny bookshop in St. Petersburg, I tell her, swirling the wine in my glass. He'd let me stay up late reading everything from Dostoevsky to comic books. The smell of old paper and leather bindings, that was home. What happened to the shop? Laurie asks, her eyes intent on mine. Gone now, like most things from that time. I clear my throat. But I've been thinking about opening something similar here. A place for kids to discover stories like I did, away from screens and all that. That's unexpected. What? You thought I only dealt in shady business ventures? I quirk an eyebrow at her. The thought had crossed my mind. Her lips curve in a slight smile. There's more to me than my reputation suggests. I lean forward. Speaking of which, you haven't shared anything about yourself all evening. Laurie takes a careful sip of wine. I prefer listening. Come on, give me something. Favorite book as a kid? Most embarrassing moment? Secret talent? She shakes her head, though her eyes sparkle with amusement. A girl has to keep some mysteries. Challenge accepted. I signal for dessert, watching how the city lights paint patterns across her skin. I'll figure you out eventually. We'll see about that, she replies, but there's warmth in her voice that wasn't there before. Well, it's a good thing the night isn't over yet, I say as we finish the main course. Care for a moonlit boat ride? Her eyes sparkle. Lead the way. The harbor breeze carries the scent of salt and flowers as we step onto the yacht. Rose petals create a path to the deck, where I've arranged dessert and champagne under the stars. Alexander, she breathes, taking in the romantic setup. Too much? I ask, suddenly uncertain. She squeezes my hand. It's perfect. I point up at the glittering expanse above us. See that cluster there? That's Cassiopeia, the vain queen who boasted about her beauty. You know your mythology, Laurie says, drawing her knees up to her chest on the plush deck cushions. Had to learn something in those fancy boarding schools. I pour us each another glass of champagne. Your turn. Tell me a constellation. She shakes her head with a small laugh. I only know the Big Dipper. Everyone knows that one. Come on, give me something real about yourself. Laurie takes a long sip, then sets down her glass with careful precision. Most men, they say they want to know me, but when I actually open up, they run. Try me. I turn to face her fully, giving her my complete attention. She studies me for a long moment. I had a patient once, a little girl with terminal cancer. I got too attached, broke all the professional distance rules. When she died, her voice catches. I couldn't work for 6 months after. Had panic attacks just walking into a hospital. Everyone said I was too emotional, too invested. that I needed to toughen up to survive in healthcare. I slide closer, taking her hand in mine. Screw them. Caring that deeply isn't weakness. It's rare and precious. You don't think I'm too much? You're exactly enough. I cup her face in my hands, drinking in the vulnerability in her eyes. When our lips meet, it's soft and sweet, yet electric with possibility. She melts into me as I pull her closer. The stars are only witnesses as the boat rocks gently beneath us.
Chapter 246. Lori. The gentle rocking of the boat lulls me into a serene trance as we glide over the moonlit water. Alexander's arm is a warm, reassuring weight around my shoulders, pulling me closer into the sanctuary of his embrace. I've never been one for grand romantic gestures, but tonight, Alexander has peeled back layers of my reserve with his thoughtfulness and genuine affection. I tilt my head up to meet his gaze, the reflection of city lights dancing in his eyes. "You really know how to spoil a girl?" I say, my voice a soft murmur against the symphony of water lapping against the hull. He chuckles, the sound rich and deep, resonating through the cool night air. "You deserve the world, Lori, and I intend to give it to you, one experience at a time." His words wrap around me like a velvet promise, and I can't help but feel giddy at the thought of a future filled with moments like these. I've always been cautious, especially with men who operate in the shadows, but Alexander makes it difficult to hold on to those fears. He might have some criminal dealings, but I guess I'll just have to be the Bonnie to his Clyde, because no man has ever treated me like this. "You're not too much, you know," he says, his voice tender yet firm, as if willing me to believe it. "You're exactly enough, just as you are." The sincerity in his eyes disarms me, and I find myself leaning into him, our bodies aligning perfectly. The warmth of his breath mingles with mine as our lips draw closer, the anticipation building like a crescendo. At first our kisses are soft, questioning, a tentative exploration, but as the connection deepens, so does the intensity. His hand cradles the back of my neck, fingers threading through my hair as our mouths move in a dance of passion and urgency. I'm lost in the sensation, the taste of champagne still lingering on his lips, the firm pressure of his touch igniting a fire within me. It's been so long since I've allowed myself to feel this way, to surrender to the heat of desire. Under the blanket, his hand finds the small of my back, pulling me impossibly closer. I can feel the evidence of his arousal pressing against me, and a thrill of excitement shoots through me. This powerful, enigmatic man wants me just as fiercely as I want him. Our kisses grow more fervent, each one stoking the flames higher. I trace the contours of his chest through the fine fabric of his shirt, feeling the solid muscle beneath. He groans softly into my mouth, the sound sending shivers down my spine. The cool night air kisses my skin as Alexander gently pulls the blanket away. "I want to see you, all of you," he says, his voice a low, insistent murmur that sends shivers cascading down my spine. My first instinct is to reach for the blanket to shield myself from the chill, but then I look into his eyes, dark as the midnight sky, and I feel a different kind of cold seeping into my bones. A chill that has nothing to do with the temperature and everything to do with the desire that pools low in my belly. I nod, a silent acquiescence to his demand, and watch as a slow, hungry smile spreads across his face. His hands, large and certain, trace the contours of my body, mapping out this new territory. I'm wearing a simple dress, elegant yet understated, but the way he looks at me, you'd think I was draped in diamonds. With deft fingers, he slips the straps off my shoulders, the fabric pooling at my waist.
I hate to put a stop to a good time, but it looks like we've hit this platform's limit for spiciness.
This platform's got some rules we have to play by if we want to keep giving you these stories for free.
And trust me, this scene isn't something you want to miss.
While we can't get into all the details here, you can still dive into the full, uncut version at TylaWalker.com.
Miss Tyla has an entire collection of unabridged audiobooks and ebooks waiting for you.
And the best part? You can treat yourself with 40% off when you use the code SAVE40.
That's right. You'll save on any digital product, even bundles that are already discounted.
Miss Tyla would never let anyone feel the kind of disappointment you must be feeling right now.
So why wait? Treat yourself with Miss Tyla.
I smile, a sense of satisfaction and contentment washing over me. For the first time in a long time, I feel truly alive, truly free. And it's all thanks to the man who holds my heart in his hands, the man who just screwed me senseless on a boat under the stars.
I thought I was getting a fake marriage, but I didn't know my story was being told by Miss Tyler.
This isn't just any fake marriage, now is it?
No, you introduced me to the devil.
Come on, girl, Jacob isn't that bad.
Oh, I love Jacob. His family, on the other hand?
Beggars can't be choosers, Nyla. You should be grateful I even let Jacob Stone look your way.
I just wanted to save my granddaddy. Is that so bad? Why couldn't you let this be a normal fake marriage? Instead, you put me in a twisty story filled with money, betrayal, power, and lies.
Let's not forget love.
That's what keeps me going. But not gonna lie, Miss Tyler. This story you got me in ain't the simple fake marriage, happy ending I thought it would be.
It's not. Because where would be the fun in that?
Treat yourself to Say Less I Love You. Tuesdays and Thursdays. New seasons premiere every month. Or skip the wait and grab the full series bundle from TylerWalker.com. Treat yourself with Miss Tyler. Chapter 2, 147. Nyla. I walk into Jacob's hospital room, my heart already sinking before I even reach his bed. The sound of the TV fills the silence between us as I settle into the chair beside him. "Hey," I say softly, reaching for his hand. He pulls away before I can touch him, his eyes remaining fixed on the TV mounted on the wall. "You don't need to keep visiting," he says flatly. "I'm fine." "I want to be here." My voice cracks slightly. "We can talk about your physical therapy progress, or there's nothing to talk about." He switches channels methodically, his movements mechanical. "You should go." I swallow hard against the lump in my throat. This shell of a man bears no resemblance to the Jacob who once looked at me with such passion and tenderness. Without a word, I honor his request, leaving him behind to watch trashy reality TV the old Jacob would never be caught dead watching. Later, I find Lori in the break room, practically floating as she makes her coffee. Her entire face lights up when she sees me. Despite my bad mood, I can't help but feel better in the presence of my best friend. She hands me her cup of coffee and goes to make another one for herself. "Someone is in a good mood this morning," I say with a smirk. "Have a good night last night?" Lori just smiles and says, "Yeah, it was okay." I scoff. "Girl, that face means it was more than okay." I put on the biggest smile I can muster when I tell her, "I want you to tell me, please." "Oh my God, Nyla, you won't believe what Alexander did last night." She clutches my arm. "He took me on this amazing boat ride under the stars. There were violinists and champagne and..." She stopped suddenly, noting my expression. "I'm sorry, I should stop." "No, please," I force a smile. "Tell me everything." As she gushes about Alexander's romantic gestures, I nod and make appropriate sounds of appreciation. But inside, each word twists like a knife. I remember when Jacob used to surprise me with thoughtful dates, when his eyes would sparkle with mischief and love. "He's just so attentive, you know." Lori sighs dreamily. "Like he anticipates exactly what I need before I even know I need it." "That's wonderful," I manage. "I'm really happy for you." And I am happy for her, but watching her practically glow with new love while mine slips further away with each passing day. It takes everything in me to keep smiling through the pain. I try to focus on Lori's happiness, but each word about Alexander's romantic gestures pierces my heart. My mind drifts to Jacob and our own magical moments, now seemingly lost forever. "You should have seen the boat," Lori sighs dreamily. "Candles everywhere, our favorite music playing." That sounds nice, I say genuinely. I wish there were somewhere I could listen to music with Jacob that wasn't just his drab hospital room. Lori nodded. Yeah, I have a feeling it would do a lot to elevate his mood if he could just get out in the crisp air and see some sights. That's it. I grab her arm, an idea sparking. The hospital rooftop. It has one of the best views in the city. Lori's eyes light up. Yes, and we could get that quartet that played at the charity gala. You think it might work? I bite my lip, hope fluttering in my chest for the first time in weeks. He's still in there somewhere, Nyla. Lori squeezes my hand. The poison damaged his brain, but the heart remembers what the mind forgets. I pull out my phone, fingers flying as I make notes. I'll need fairy lights, his favorite champagne. Let me help, Lori offers. Alexander knows some amazing caterers. Thanks. I manage a genuine smile. I know it's probably crazy, but it's not crazy, Lori cuts in firmly. It's love, and if anyone can break through to him, it's you. The spark of possibility grows stronger as we plan. Maybe, just maybe, under the same stars where we first fell in love, I can help Jacob find his way back to me. Operation Romance starts tomorrow, I declare, already mentally arranging the perfect evening. Even if it's a long shot, I have to try. Our love is worth fighting for. I smooth down the silk of my golden gown, admiring how it seems to mirror the blinking lights of the city. The rooftop setup is perfect. Twinkling lights strung overhead, a small table set with the Jacob's favorite dishes, and the city skyline sparkling beyond. The string quartet tunes their instruments quietly in the corner. You look stunning, Lori says, adjusting a strand of my hair. Like a dream. I just hope he shows up. My hands won't stop trembling. What if he refuses? He'll come. I made sure his evening meds were timed perfectly for this. Lori squeezes my shoulder. Alexander is bringing him up now. I walk to the edge of the roof, letting the cool evening breeze calm my nerves. Below, the city pulses with life. Cars streaming past, windows lighting up one by one. Somewhere in that maze of streets lies the Jacob I fell in love with. I just have to find him again. What if this doesn't work? I whisper. What if he's really gone? Then at least you'll know you tried everything. Lori checks her phone. They're on their way up. You ready? I nod, though my heart hammers against my ribs. The rooftop door creaks open behind me. This is it, my last chance to break through the walls the poison built. Either I'll get my Jacob back tonight, or I'll have to accept that he's lost to me forever. Taking a deep breath, I turn to face whatever comes next. The quartet begins to play our song as footsteps approach across the roof. Chapter 2, 148. Nyla. Jacob steps onto the rooftop, his eyes widening slightly at the elaborate setup. The quartet's music floats through the evening air as I hold my breath. You did all this? He asks, taking in the twinkling lights and candlelit table. I thought you might enjoy a change of scenery. I gesture to the cityscape beyond. The view up here is incredible. We sit down to dinner, the tension in my shoulders easing as Jacob actually takes a few bites, but his responses to my attempts at conversation remain detached, almost mechanical. Remember that night we danced under the stars at the charity gala? I try. He merely shrugs. Halfway through the main course, Jacob pushes his plate away with a sigh. What is it? It's not you. It's just, I'm so damn tired of being stuck in this hospital. These walls are suffocating me. I study his frustrated expression, an idea forming. Then let's leave. What? Right now? Let's go explore the city, just you and me. My heart races at my own daring suggestion. The doctors can wait until morning. I stand up, extending my hand. Come on, live a little. I hurry to find Lori, who's monitoring things from inside. I need your help breaking Jacob out for a few hours. Her eyes widen. Nyla, that's incredibly risky in his condition. Please. He needs this. I need this. She hesitates, then sighs. 4 hours max, and you take his emergency meds with you. You're the best. I hug her quickly. Minutes later, Jacob and I slip out a side entrance into the buzzing nightlife of the city, ready for our great escape. For the first time in weeks, I catch a glimpse of excitement in his eyes. Steam rises from our hot chocolates at Serendipity as carolers sing Silent Night outside the window. The rich scent of chocolate and peppermint fills the air. Remember when you took me on a date here? I ask, stirring my whipped cream into the drink. Jacob takes a sip, considering. Parts of it are fuzzy. Tell me again. You ordered every dessert on the menu because you couldn't decide. The memory brings a smile to my face. We stayed until closing. Sounds like something I would do. He actually chuckles. The first real laugh I've heard from him in weeks. At Rockefeller Center, Jacob kneels to help with my skates, his fingers brushing against my ankle as he tightens the laces. I haven't done this in forever, I admit as he guides me onto the ice. It's like riding a bike. His steady hand supports my elbow. Just find your balance. We glide together under the massive Christmas tree, its lights twinkling above us. The cold air nips at my face, but Jacob's warmth beside me keeps me moving forward. The Union Square holiday market buzzes with energy as we wander past stalls of handmade crafts and seasonal treats. Jacob buys us steaming cups of mulled wine, the spicy sweetness warming us from within. As we sip our wine and browse the market stalls, his shoulders relax. For the first time since waking up, Jacob seems present in the moment, rather than lost in the fog. The brisk night air swirls around us. As we step out of the bustling market, our hands brushing against each other in the absence of the crowd's chaos, Jacob's eyes catch mine, and there's a flicker of something I haven't seen in a long while. Desire, raw and unfiltered. I think it's time we head back, I suggest reluctantly, not wanting to push him too far, but his grip on my hand tightens. Not yet. There's somewhere else I want to go, he insists, his voice carrying an urgency that's both exciting and a little alarming. I raise an eyebrow. Where? He grins, the mischievous spark in his eyes reigniting a dormant flame within me. My penthouse. Against my better judgment, I nod. Okay, let's go. We make our way to his building, the city lights casting a warm glow on the sleek architecture. The doorman greets us with a nod, and we step into the elevator, the tension between us palpable as we ascend to the top floor. The penthouse is just as I remember it, modern, luxurious, and painfully empty without the vibrancy of Jacob's presence. He walks over to the floor-to-ceiling windows, staring out at the twinkling cityscape below. It's like watching a heartbeat, he murmurs, his breath fogging the glass. I move to stand beside him, our reflections merging into one in the glass. It's beautiful. He turns to face me, his gaze intense. Not as beautiful as you. Before I can respond, his lips are on mine, hungry and insistent. It's a kiss that speaks of longing and rediscovery, a stark contrast to the sweet stolen kisses we shared before. I can feel the heat of his words against my skin, a promise of raw intensity that makes my breath hitch. Jacob's eyes are dark pools of desire, his usually composed demeanor now replaced with a primal hunger that sends a thrill coursing through me. Yes, I breathe out, my voice barely above a whisper, already feeling the anticipation building within me. In one swift motion, he flips me around, my body tumbling over the back of the plush leather couch. The world turns upside down, and I find myself gasping for air, my heart pounding in my chest. His hands are on me, rough yet tender, pulling my pants down just enough to expose me to the cool air of the penthouse. I hate to put a stop to a good time, but it looks like we've hit this platform's limit for spiciness.
This platform's got some rules we have to play by if we want to keep giving you these stories for free.
And trust me, this scene isn't something you want to miss.
While we can't get into all the details here, you can still dive into the full, uncut version at TylaWalker.com.
Miss Tyla has an entire collection of unabridged audiobooks and ebooks waiting for you.
And the best part? You can treat yourself with 40% off when you use the code SAVE40.
That's right. You'll save on any digital product, even bundles that are already discounted.
Miss Tyla would never let anyone feel the kind of disappointment you must be feeling right now.
So why wait? Treat yourself with Miss Tyla. Morning light streams through the windows when I finally wake up, groggy and disoriented. I reach out for Jacob, but my fingers only find the imprint of his body on the rumpled rug. I sit up, scanning the room, but he's nowhere to be found. A flicker of panic ignites in my chest until I spot a note on the kitchen counter, his familiar scrawl etched across the paper. Had to go back. Didn't want to wake you. J. The letter is succinct and to the point, just like Jacob. But my heart was starving for some indication that last night meant something to him too. He felt something last night. I know he did. Now all I had to do was help him feel it again.
You won't know what hit you, baby. I'm going to take you, break you, and make you mine. When I'm done, you're...
Now hold on just a minute.
What?
I got something to say.
What's the meaning of this?
Now you may be some fine-looking white boy.
Got that right, baby. It takes hard work.
And you might got the money.
Fat stacks, baby, to spoil you with.
But that doesn't mean I'm going to give it up to you without a fight.
A fight?
You want some limp wilting flowers? Go to historical romance, baby. But you want sassy and spicy strong black queens that tame their alpha male bad boys?
I think our listeners do.
Then you go on and look at Miss Tyla's Bougie Brides and Billionaires audio bundle.
50 hours of me whispering the most romantic things in your ears. Fake marriages, alpha male billionaires, strong black women, steamy scenes that will make your eyes roll back. Everything wrapped up in a happily ever after that will put you in an afterglow.
Use code SAVE40 to get 40% off this bundle and any other digital product in Miss Tyla's store.
Unabridged and uncut.
Just like you?
You're gonna have to find out.
Tyla Walker Romances. Escape your life with sassy romance.
Chapter 2, 149. Jacob. I sit on the hospital bed, trying not to fidget as Lori checks my vitals. The steady beep of monitors fills the sterile air until the click of heels announces my mother's arrival. Darling, you're looking so much better. Mother's floral perfume hits me like a wall as she swoops in, adjusting my pillows and smoothing my hair. I'm fine, Mother. I shift away from her fussing hands. The doctors say I can leave soon. About that? She perches on the edge of my bed, her perfectly manicured hands clasped in her lap. We need to discuss your plans before all this happened. Lori busies herself with my chart, but I catch her slight headshake. What plans? I ask, though I already know where this is heading. Running away with that girl? Mother's voice drips with disdain. Really, Jacob? What were you thinking? The scandal alone would have destroyed us. Her name is Nyla, I snap. And I wasn't thinking about scandal. I was thinking about being happy. Happy? She laughs sharply. You were going to throw away everything. Your position, your legacy, your family name. For some nurse? Don't. The word comes out harsher than I intended. Don't talk about her like that. I'm only trying to protect you, Mother insists, reaching for my hand. I pull away. From what? Love? Happiness? Finding a way to leave your overprotective control? I feel my blood pressure rising as Lori does her best to get an accurate reading. I thought you didn't have any feelings for her anymore, my mother said, savoring the words. I run my fingers through my hair, considering my mother's words. The memories of Nyla feel distant, but the thought of her brings warmth to my chest. I'm not sure how I feel anymore, I admit. What was there before? It's gone. But maybe... I pause, searching for the right words. Maybe we could build something new. Start fresh. Mother's perfectly lined lips curl into a sneer. Absolutely not. That girl is nothing but trouble. She stands pacing the sterile hospital room in her Louboutin. Did you know she orchestrated that whole takeover just to get control of the company? Mother. And let's not forget how she manipulated you into paying off her family's debts. Classic gold digger behavior. Mother's voice rises with each accusation. She's been playing you from the start, darling, using your kind heart against you. I notice Lori's knuckles whitening around her clipboard as she pretends to check my IV drip. Her jaw is clenched tight, and I can tell she's biting back words. She wormed her way onto the board, took control over the Neuromax rollout. Mother continues her tirade. That's not love, Jacob. That's opportunism at its finest. I stare at my hands, tuning out Mother's continued accusations as fragments of memory surface. Nyla's determined face as she tried to hand me a check, insisting on repaying every penny. The way she worked double shifts to make sure her grandfather got the care he needed. Her fierce independence that often frustrated me. She was here by my side this whole time, I said with conviction. The best con artists make you believe they love you, Mother continues, her voice slicing through my thoughts. Remember, Kat? The model who almost convinced you to invest in that fake charity? Nyla's different. The words come automatically, even through my emotional fog. She never asked for anything. Oh, please, Mother scoffs, pacing in her designer heels. She took control of the entire company. After Marcus manipulated her, Lori interjects quietly, still focused on my chart. And she tried to stop the Neuromax launch when she learned the truth. Mother's eyes narrow. No one asked for your opinion, nurse. It's my job to advocate for my patient, Lori replies evenly. And stress isn't good for his recovery. I rub my temples, trying to sort through the conflicting signals in my mind. The poison left everything jumbled, but some truths remain clear. Mother always thought everyone was after our money, I mutter. Mother stiffens. You have no idea what I've had to protect you from. Have you? I meet her gaze. Or do you just fabricate threats because you need to control everything and everyone around you? The monitors beep steadily in the silence that follows. I may not remember everything about Nyla, but I remember enough about my mother's manipulations to know whose version of events I trust more. Lori moves around the bed, adjusting monitors with precise, controlled movements. Her usually warm eyes have turned to steel, but she maintains her professional silence as Mother finishes spewing her venom. The click of Mother's heels fades down the hallway, leaving behind the lingering scent of her expensive perfume. I stare at the ceiling, counting the tiny holes in each tile while trying to remember something. Anything. Lori moves to stand beside my bed, her usually warm presence now radiating an intensity that draws my attention. Jacob, listen to me. Nyla loves you more than anything in this world. My fingers trace the IV line absently. That's what everyone keeps saying. Because it's true. Lori's voice carries a quiet urgency. I've watched you two fight impossible odds to be together. The way you used to look at her, that kind of love doesn't just disappear. I search inside myself for any echo of what she describes, but there's only emptiness where those memories should be. I wish I could feel what you're talking about. It's still in there somewhere, Laurie insists, checking my vitals one last time. The poison may have clouded your mind, but it can't erase what you and Nyla share. I watch as she gathers her clipboard and stethoscope, her movements precise but heavy with disappointment. Before leaving, she pauses at the door. Just don't let your mother's words poison you all over again. The door clicks shut behind her, leaving me alone with my fractured thoughts. I close my eyes, trying to conjure Nyla's face, but it slips away like smoke through my fingers.
Chapter 250. Nyla. I lift my chin, meeting Hilda's condescending gaze in the sterile hospital hallway. The scent of her expensive perfume mingles with antiseptic, making my head swim. Hilda clicks her tongue. "How long will you keep tormenting yourself like this, dear?" she asks. "I'm not tormenting anyone. I'm here for Jacob," I say firmly. "Oh, please." Hilda adjusts her Hermes scarf with manicured fingers. "You've lost your usefulness now that the Neuromax deal is secured. Time to gracefully exit stage left." "You'd love that, wouldn't you?" I step closer, dropping my voice. "Finally rid of the nurse who dared to love your son." "Love?" she laughs. The sound sharp as breaking glass. "You climb the social ladder quite effectively using that word." "You're the expert on social climbing, aren't you?" I counter. "Wasn't that how you snagged William? You're projecting your own sins onto me? How dare you?" "I dare because I actually love Jacob." My voice rises despite my efforts to stay calm. "Unlike you, who sees him as just another asset to control." Hilda's eyes narrow to dangerous slits. "You naive girl. Love doesn't pay bills or maintain empires." "No, it just gives life meaning." I shake my head sadly. "But you wouldn't understand that, would you?" I move to pass her, but she grabs my arm. "He doesn't remember loving you. Take the hint and leave with your dignity intact." I carefully remove her hand. "Unlike you, I don't give up on the people I love." I watch Hilda's perfectly coiffed head disappear down the sterile hospital corridor, her Louboutins clicking against the floor like tiny hammers driving nails into my composure. The lingering scent of her Chanel No. 5 mingles with antiseptic, making my stomach churn. Taking a deep breath, I smooth down my sweater and push open Jacob's door. He's sitting up in bed, staring out the window at the gray December sky. I perch on the edge of Jacob's hospital bed, my heart racing as I'd study his face for any hint of the passion we shared last night. The winter sunlight, streaming through the window, catches the sharp angles of his jaw, reminding me of how it felt beneath my fingertips. Seems Laurie and Alexander are falling pretty hard for each other, I say, desperately searching for neutral ground. "That's good." Jacob's voice is flat, clinical. He gently pulls his hand away to reach for the water glass. My throat tightens. Just weeks ago, we'd been planning our future together. Eloping. A small wedding on the beach, a honeymoon in Bali. Now we can barely manage small talk about business. "Julia asked about you." I try again. "She's worried." "Everyone's worried." Jacob shifts against the pillows, avoiding my gaze. I keep telling them I'm fine. "Are you? Really?" He sighs, that distant look clouding his eyes again. I wish people would stop asking me that. The words hang between us like a wall of ice. I think of Hilda's smug warning earlier. Maybe she was right. Maybe I'm just torturing myself hoping for something that's gone forever. "I had a nice time last night," I say, trying to keep my voice steady. Jacob's lips finally curve into a slight smile that doesn't reach his eyes. "Yeah, thanks for getting me out of here. I really needed that break from these four walls." My stomach twists. And the rest? The rest? Us, the connection we had, the way you held me. My voice trails off as his expression remains distant. Jacob shifts uncomfortably against his pillows. Look, the physical stuff was good. Really good. It's just made things more complicated. Complicated how? I press, even as dread pools in my gut. I don't feel what I apparently used to feel, he says carefully. Last night was fun, but that's all it was. It feels wrong to put you in situations that would make you think otherwise. The clinical beeping of his heart monitor punctuates the silence between us. I grip the starched hospital sheets, willing myself to stay composed as my carefully rebuilt hopes crumble. So that's it then? I manage to ask. One night and you're done? I'm sorry. I really don't want to hurt you, he says, and for a moment I catch a flicker of genuine regret in his eyes. That's why I think it's better if we keep things professional for a while. The coldness in his voice cuts deeper than any blade. Just hours ago, we'd shared such intimacy, such warmth. Now it's like talking to a stranger wearing my lover's face. Your mother's been here, I say. It's not a question. The emotional walls are back up, higher than ever. She has concerns. His voice is flat, clinical. I feel my heart crack at his words. The steady beep of the heart monitor becomes deafening in the silence between us. Your mother has always had concerns, I say, my fingers twisting the edge of my sweater. She got between us before, and now you're letting her do it again. Jacob shifts in the hospital bed, the starched sheets rustling. I'm not letting her do anything. These are my decisions. Are they? Because last night, I don't care what you say. You couldn't have faked that intimacy, that passion. That was real. That's the problem. I don't know what real is right now. He rubs his temple, wincing. Things are getting complicated very fast. The hospital, the board meetings, Neuromax. The fluorescent lights cast harsh shadows across his face as he turns away from me. My throat tightens as I watch this man I love retreat further behind his walls. I need time to think, he says, without anyone putting thoughts in my head. What does that mean exactly? His jaw clenches. It means I need a little space, just for a little while. The words hit me like a physical blow. I grip the metal rail of his bed to steady myself. How long is a little while? Until I can make sense of all this. On my own, the stale air grows thick, making it hard to breathe. I want to fight, to remind him of everything we've been through, but his expression is closed off, unreachable. I should let you rest, I say softly, standing up. My legs feel unsteady. Thanks for stopping by. The polite dismissal in his tone makes my heart crack further. I pause at the door, fighting back tears. The man I love is right there, close enough to touch, but he might as well be on another planet.
You think you can catch me? You think you can tame me?
Oh, I know I can. And you know it too, baby.
I gotta tell you, you're not the first to try.
But don't worry, baby. I'll be the last.
With sass like that, maybe I'll be the one that needs to tame you.
Let's cut to the chase, big boy. What you selling me?
Your appetite is big AF. I have just the thing that'll satisfy you.
Oh, really? And what's that?
Over 120 hours of romance audiobooks. Brought to you by Tyler Walker Romances in the Big AF Audio Bundle.
120 hours? That sounds amazing.
Your knees won't work afterwards if I do my job right.
Don't make promises you can't keep.
Well, I can keep this promise. Because these audiobooks are unabridged with all the spicy scenes that will make you put your earbuds on. You know, Tyla can get freaky because she marked the bundle down by 69% for a limited time.
I can't wait to take this bundle for a ride.
Visit TylaWalker.com and get this audio bundle. Just don't start listening if you're going to be cooking dinner, because you might just forget to feed your family.
TylaWalker.com. Escape your life with Tyla. Chapter 2, 151. Nyla. I stare at the Neuromax distribution plans spread across my desk, my stomach churning. The manufacturing schedule, delivery routes, sales projections, it's all happening too fast. In 3 weeks, this addictive poison will flood the market. Marcus leans against the doorframe of my office, his expensive suit perfectly pressed. You look troubled, daughter. I told you not to call me that. I snap, shuffling the papers. Not after everything you've done. Everything I've done has been for us, for our legacy. He steps into the room, his presence filling the space. The Stones destroyed our family once. Now we can build something new, together. By destroying other families, by getting people hooked on this drug, Marcus spreads his hands. The world isn't black and white. Sometimes you have to embrace the gray areas to achieve something greater. There's nothing gray about addiction. Yes, Neuromax is addictive, but it will also help people. But that's just one drug. There are so many more diseases we could find a cure for. So many more people we could save. Come work with me. I'll give you a fresh start. Real power. Everything you deserve. I look up at him, at the father I never knew, offering everything I once dreamed of. And what about all the people who will suffer? They're not your responsibility. Those people are very much my responsibility, I say, standing up from my desk. The papers scatter, but I don't care. Every single person who gets hooked on this drug will be on my conscience. Marcus settles into the leather chair across from me, studying my face with those calculating blue eyes we share. There's something else going on here, isn't there? I scoff. Something more than being worried that you are starting the next major drug addiction crisis? Marcus sits back, calmly. His eyes study my face. I squirm a little under his scrutiny. He shakes his head. No, I know you have a bleeding heart, but this is about more than just turning our fellow countrymen into pill poppers. You're damn right it is, the words explode out of me. That poison your associates gave Jacob, it didn't just put him in a coma. It destroyed him. And the antidote you gave me was hardly an antidote. The man I love is gone, replaced by this empty shell. My voice cracks. You stole my chance at happiness. I've known Jacob Stone his whole life, Marcus says, leaning forward. Trust me, you would never have been truly happy with him. The Stones are poison. Look what they did to me, to your mother. How would you know what makes me happy? I shoot back. You weren't there for any of it. Then let me be here now. His voice softens. Leave the Stones behind. Start fresh with me. Build something new. I grip the edge of my desk. His words hitting home. Why am I still loyal to the Stones? Jacob doesn't even remember our love. Hilda treats me like dirt. They've given me nothing but heartache. Marcus rises, placing a hand on my shoulder. I can give you real power, daughter. No more playing second fiddle to Hilda's schemes. The temptation coils around my heart like a snake. After everything I've lost, his offer beckons like a lighthouse in the storm. I cross my arms, studying Marcus's face. What about Trixa? Isn't she your golden child, the one you've been grooming all along? Marcus settles into his chair, running a hand through his silver hair. Trixa is complicated. I took her in when she was young, gave her everything she wanted, Maybe that was my mistake. She certainly acts entitled enough. I'll always love Trixa, Marcus says, his voice softening. But you're my blood, my firstborn. He leans forward, eyes intense. The Stones robbed us of so many years together. Your first steps, your graduation, all those moments I can never get back. That was your choice, I remind him sharply. You could have fought for me. Against Hilda Stone, she would have destroyed everything I'd built. He shakes his head. But I'm here now. Let me make it up to you. Let me be the father you deserve. By helping you push an addictive drug, by giving you the empire that should have been yours from birth. Marcus rises, pacing the office. Trixa plays at business, but you have real vision, real strength. Together, we could build something extraordinary. I feel the weight of his words, the years of lost connection between us. Part of me yearns to embrace this chance at having a real father, but at what cost? Think about it, Marcus says softly, heading for the door. We have so much time to make up for. I stare at Marcus, his words coiling around me like a seductive whisper. Power, prestige, a real family, everything I've fought so hard for, being offered freely. Think about it, Marcus says, his expensive leather loafers clicking on the floor as he circles my desk. No more begging the board for approval. No more fighting Hilda's schemes. Just you and me building something extraordinary. My fingers trace the Neuromax launch documents. 3 weeks. That's all the time left before this addictive nightmare hits the streets. The weight of responsibility crushes my shoulders. You've sacrificed enough, Marcus continues, his voice softening. Let someone else carry this burden. Come work with me. Be the daughter you were meant to be. And what about all the families that will be destroyed? I ask, but my voice lacks its usual conviction. Marcus shrugs elegantly. The world's not fair, sweetheart. The Stones taught us that lesson well enough. He's right. I've given everything to this fight. My money, my reputation, my love. And what do I have to show for it? Just think, Marcus whispers. No more lonely nights wondering what could have been. No more fighting battles you can't win. The temptation burns through my veins. I could walk away, start fresh. Let the consequences fall where they may. I'll give you time to consider, Marcus says, heading for the door. But remember, you deserve happiness too, Nyla. Don't let misplaced loyalty steal that from you again. I watch him leave, his words echoing in my head. The Neuromax papers mock me from my desk. 3 weeks to stop an unstoppable train. Maybe it's time to get off the tracks and save myself. Chapter 252. Nyla. I sink into Kyra's plush couch, the weight of everything crushing my shoulders. The scent of jasmine tea wafts between us as she pours 2 cups. I don't know what to do anymore, I confess, wrapping my hands around the warm mug. Jacob looks right through me like I'm a stranger. And now Marcus wants me to work with him. Tell me everything, Kyra says softly. The words pour out of me like a broken dam. Marcus promises power, prestige, everything the Stones denied me. Says we can make up for lost time. I take a shaky breath. But the price is letting Neuromax destroy lives. And Jacob? Kyra prompts gently. My voice cracks. The poison changed him. The doctors say he may never be the same. I planned this romantic rooftop dinner and he just left me there alone. That must have hurt terribly. I keep hoping if I try hard enough, he'll remember our love. But maybe I'm just fooling myself. I brush away an errant tear. And now Neuromax launches in 3 weeks? I haven't figured out how to stop it. So Marcus's offer tempts you, Kyra observes. Yes, I admit. Part of me wants to just give up. Let someone else fight this battle. Is that horrible of me? Kyra sets down her tea and takes my trembling hands in hers. Her grip is warm and firm, anchoring me. Kyra squeezes my hands, her touch grounding me. That doesn't make you horrible, sweetheart. It makes you human. I take a shaky sip of tea. Marcus wants me to help develop new drugs, things that could actually save lives. That has to count for something, right? Listen to me carefully. Kyra leans forward, her eyes intense. I worked with Marcus for years. This is what he does. Promises you the world while asking for your soul in return. But the research facilities he showed me, my voice trails off. State of the art, I'm sure. He'll dangle everything you've ever wanted. Kyra's lips press into a thin line. Then slowly corrupt each discovery until it serves his agenda. I slump back against the cushions. He said we could make up for lost time. Be a real family. By enabling an addiction epidemic, Kyra arches an eyebrow. That's not the daughter I gave birth to. Her words hit me like a physical blow. She's right. I'm letting Marcus manipulate my desperate need for family and purpose. You know what you need to do, even if it's difficult, she says gently. You cannot align yourself with Marcus and enable harm. The truth of her words sinks deep into my bones. I nod slowly, resolve crystallizing. I have to stop Neuromax's release myself before more lives are destroyed. That's my girl, Kyra smiles proudly. Now, let's figure out how to take this thing down. I pace Kyra's living room, my mind racing. 3 weeks. That's all I have to stop this nightmare. Then we better get creative, Kyra says, pulling out her laptop. What resources do you have? The board won't listen. They've made up their minds. I run my hands through my hair in frustration. Stop thinking like a CEO. Kyra's fingers fly across the keyboard. Think like a scientist. What's Neuromax's weakness? I pause mid-stride. The addiction data, if we could prove conclusively how dangerous it is. Exactly. Kyra turns her screen toward me. I still have contacts at the FDA. If we can get them solid evidence of the risks. I shake my head, running my fingers through my hair in frustration. The FDA data won't help. Marcus and Trixa have already doctored everything. They've got all the approvals lined up. Kyra taps her pen against her notepad. There must be something we're missing. I've looked at this from every angle. I stand up, pacing across her Persian rug. The board only sees dollar signs. The regulators are bought off, and distribution deals are locked in. You'll find a way, Kyra says softly. You always do. I stop pacing, my throat tight. What if I don't? What if I fail and people die because of this drug? Then we'll go down fighting. Kyra's voice is still wrapped in silk. Better than selling your soul to Marcus. I sink back onto the couch beside her. Can I ask you something personal? Of course. I fidget with my teacup, the question that's been burning inside finally spilling out. Are you still angry at them? The Stones? Like Marcus is? Kyra sets her cup down with a gentle clink, her eyes distant. There was a time when the rage consumed me, watching them take everything. My research, my baby, the man I loved. She traces the rim of her cup. I used to lie awake plotting revenge, just like Marcus does now. What changed? I realized something devastating. Kyra's voice drops low. This isn't a world where love and happiness can truly exist. Not in their sphere of influence. The Stones will always sacrifice everything and everyone for power. Her words hit me like a physical blow. The truth in them resonates with my own growing despair. That's exactly what I've been thinking, I whisper, my voice cracking. Every time I try to hold on to something good, Jacob, my career, my integrity, it gets corrupted or taken away. The game is rigged, Kyra says softly. Marcus never understood that. He keeps playing by their rules, thinking he can win, but you can't beat them at their own game. I lean back, letting her words sink in. All my attempts to fight within the system, to maintain my principles while playing their corporate games. Maybe that's why I keep failing. What if Jacob never loves me again? The words catch in my throat. How do you move past losing someone like that? Kyra's eyes grow distant. You find another love. Life has a way of surprising you. Is that what happened with Marcus? No. She gives a sad little laugh. I haven't loved anyone since your father. Not in that way. My stomach drops. That's not exactly encouraging. Everyone's path is different. Kyra squeezes my hand. But you can't let fear of being alone keep you from doing what's right. I nod slowly, drawing strength from her quiet wisdom. The path ahead terrifies me, but I know what I have to do, even if it means burning the Stone Empire to the ground.
Chapter 253. Lori. Since Jacob has finally been discharged from the hospital, I am now on house call duty. Even though it takes more time, going to Jacob's penthouse is a way better experience than being cooped up in the hospital. I quietly let myself into Jacob's penthouse with my key, medical bag in hand. As soon as I enter the penthouse, I can tell that something feels different today. There's tension in the air. Voices drift from the master bedroom, growing clearer as I approach. I pause, my hand hovering over the doorknob. I can't keep doing this, Alexander. I'm ready to move now. Jacob's voice carries through the door, strained with frustration. You need to be patient, Alexander replies, his tone measured but firm. Pick the right moment. I'm tired of hurting her. It's killing me. Have you forgotten what happened last time? Alexander's voice drops lower, more dangerous. I hold my breath, pressing closer to the door. My heart pounds against my ribs. Of course I haven't forgotten, Jacob snaps. But there has to be another way. There isn't. Not yet. Alexander's voice softens slightly. I'm working on it, but one wrong move and they'll know we're coming. Jacob lets out a frustrated growl. Fine, but I can't guarantee that I'll be able to wait much longer. My hands tremble as I process their words. It's hard to tell for sure, but it seems like Jacob isn't as sick as everyone thinks he is. But why pretend? What are he and Alexander planning? Before I can process what I've overheard, the door swings open. Alexander nearly collides with me, his expensive cologne washing over me as he steadies himself. Lori, his green eyes widen in surprise. I didn't expect you so early. Clearly, I cross my arms studying his face. What's going on? Jacob sounds different. Through the open door, I see Jacob sitting up in bed, alert and focused. Nothing like the detached shell he's been for weeks. Alexander runs a hand through his hair, conflict evident in his expression. It's complicated. Really? That's what you're going with? My voice carries an edge. After everything we've shared, you're keeping secrets? He steps closer, lowering his voice. There are things I can't explain right now. People who would hurt those we care about if they knew certain developments. And I'm supposed to just trust that? Yes. He catches my hand, his thumb tracing circles on my palm. I promise everything will make sense soon, but for now, the less you know, the safer you are. I pull my hand away. That's not how relationships work, Alexander. Give me time, he pleads softly. Trust that I'm trying to protect everyone involved. The sincerity in his eyes makes my resolve waver. Alexander grabs my hand, his expression intense. Promise me you won't tell Nyla about what you heard. I pull away, crossing my arms. You're asking me to lie to my best friend? Not lie, just withhold certain information for her safety. His green eyes plead with me. The less she knows right now, the better. That's what everyone keeps telling her, I counter. Look how well that's worked out. Alexander steps closer, his cologne teasing my senses. I know it's difficult, but trust me, everything I'm doing is to protect both Nyla and Jacob. I want to argue more, but something in his expression stops me. Fine, but this better not blow up in all our faces. I plant my feet firmly, crossing my arms as I stare Alexander down. Let me be crystal clear. If I catch even a whiff that there's something Nyla needs to know about, I won't hesitate to tell her. There's nothing underhanded happening here. Alexander adjusts his silk tie. Just standard business matters. Right, business. I arch an eyebrow, because that conversation I just overheard sounded totally above board. Speaking of business, Alexander checks his Rolex. About tonight's plans. My stomach drops. What about them? I have an unavoidable family obligation that's come up. He winces slightly. I won't be able to make the show. Are you kidding me? I grip the strap of my medical bag tighter. I've been trying to get tickets to Hamilton for 3 years. The original cast is leaving next month. I know. Alexander runs a hand through his dark hair. I'll make it up to you. How exactly? These tickets are impossible to replace. The disappointment settles heavy in my chest. I've been looking forward to this for weeks. I'm truly sorry. He reaches for my hand, but I step back. Family business can't wait. Of course it can't. I turn toward Jacob's room, my voice clipped. Your mysterious family business always comes first, doesn't it? That's not fair. You know my position requires certain responsibilities. Right, your position. I grab my medical bag. Alexander steps closer, his cologne teasing my senses as he adjusts his tie. You could come with me, you know. These family functions are quite elaborate. My breath catches. Meeting his family, that's a huge step. The invitation warms something deep inside me, but reality crashes back quickly. To a Sokolov family gathering? I keep my voice steady despite my racing heart. I don't think I'm ready for that yet. Not because it's meeting the family. He studies my face intently. No, I meet his gaze. Because it's meeting this family. I'm a nurse, Alexander. I took an oath to do no harm. Your family's business. I trail off, letting the implications hang heavy between us. He nods slowly, no trace of offense in his expression. I understand completely. His fingers brush my arm gently. It's one of the things I admire most about you, your unwavering principles. Even when they keep us apart? Especially then. He smiles, though it doesn't quite reach his eyes. Your moral compass is true. Don't ever compromise that, not even for me. I squeeze his hand briefly before stepping back. Well, I should check on my patient now. Enjoy your party. I leave him standing there, hurt and frustration warring in my chest. Dating a crime boss's right-hand man isn't exactly what I signed up for, but here we are.
This is it, baby. This is what you can get me that'll make me happy.
You know I'll get you whatever you want. All you need to do is ask me and I'll give it to you.
This ain't just it. This is everything I could ever want.
Now I'm curious. What does a strong, sassy woman like yourself want so badly?
Baby, you know what I want?
Can't wait to hear.
The Big Baddie Bundle from Nyla Walker. It has everything I need.
20 ebooks with over 1 million words of sassy romance and spice that'll keep you on your toes.
10 audiobooks containing over 60 hours of that seductive voice telling me naughty things all night long.
You don't need an audiobook for that, baby. Right here.
You may be fine and all, but no one tells it like the way Miss Nyla does. And I need her in my life.
The Big Baddie Bundle is everything you need. You can get it for 80% off.
Go to TylaWalker.com to browse the bundles that earn you the best deals.
It's time you treat yourself. Because you deserve it.
Escape your life with Miss Nyla. Chapter 2, 154. Nyla. I sink into the plush pedicure chair next to Lori, wiggling my toes as the warm water swirls around them. God, I needed this. When was the last time we did something just for us? Too long. Lori tilts her head back, letting the massage chair work its magic. Between hospital drama and relationship chaos, I can barely remember what normal feels like. I sink deeper into the massage chair, letting the tension seep from my shoulders. Speaking of chaos, I still need to properly thank Alexander for helping me take Kevin down. God, watching that smug bastard squirm when his clients started questioning their bills. Best moment ever. Lori shifts in her chair, her usual easy smile tightening at the corners. Yeah, he was happy to help. Can you believe Kevin and Anastasia aren't even together anymore after everything they put me through? I shake my head, remembering their betrayal. All that scheming and stealing just to end up alone. Not shocking. They don't exactly seem like relationship material, Lori replies, her voice oddly flat. She stares down at her feet in the swirling water, avoiding my gaze. I study my best friend's suddenly tense posture. The sparkle that usually lights up her face when we gossip is completely gone. Okay, what's going on? The second I mentioned Alexander, your whole mood changed. It's nothing. Lori waves her hand dismissively, but I catch the slight tremor in her fingers. Don't give me that. I know you too well. I turn in my chair to face her fully. Did something happen between you two? Lori bites her lower lip, clearly wrestling with whether to confide in me. The hesitation is so unlike her that my concern deepens. Okay, spill. What's wrong? Lori sighs. I had these amazing Hamilton tickets for tonight. You know how long I've been trying to see it. But he has some big family birthday party he has to attend instead. Family party? My stomach drops. You mean, yeah, the crime family kind. Lori's voice drips with frustration. I know he can't exactly skip it, but still... That's rough. Dating a crime boss's right hand probably comes with some unique challenges. You could say that. Lori attempts a smile that doesn't quite reach her eyes. I just wish he could be more normal sometimes. You know? I nod sympathetically, understanding all too well how complicated love can be. So you're not exactly ready to meet the parents, huh? Not when Alexander's de facto father figure is Ivan Sokolov, Lori says, rolling her eyes. Can you imagine that dinner conversation? Pass the borscht. And by the way, how many people did you murder this week? Yeah, that's not exactly your typical meet the family situation. I tap my fingers against the armrest, an idea forming. Though, this party tonight could be the perfect opportunity to get close to them. Lori stares at me like I've lost my mind. Girl, what are you talking about? These people poisoned Jacob? Exactly. I lean forward, lowering my voice even though we're alone. And they control the manufacturing and distribution of Neuromax. If I could just get close to Ivan Sokolov. Hold up. Lori raises her hand. You want to convince the head of New York's biggest crime family to do what exactly? Stop the distribution of Neuromax, I say, as if it's the easiest thing in the world. Lori tries to be supportive, but I can see the doubt on her face. You want him to not distribute the drug he wants to make a fortune on. Okay, so I don't have all the logistics worked out, but you're dating his right-hand man. This party tonight could be my way in. Nyla. Lori's voice softens with concern. Even if Alexander got you into that party, you'd have what? 3 weeks to become besties with Ivan and convince him to give up millions in profit. I have to try something. The desperation in my voice makes Lori wince. Every day I watch my grandfather suffer from this addiction. Soon thousands more will too. I can't just sit back and let it happen. I get it, I do. Lori squeezes my hand. But these aren't people you can reason with. They're dangerous criminals who've already shown they'll hurt anyone who gets in their way. So what's your suggestion? Give up? Let them destroy countless lives? Lori sighs heavily. No, But there has to be a safer way than trying to infiltrate the Russian mob. I let out a resigned sigh, sinking deeper into the pedicure chair. Fine, you're right. We don't need to crash the party, but I'm running out of time here. If you've got any other brilliant ideas, I'm all ears. Lori's eyes soften with concern as she watches me. Guilt flickers across her face before she squares her shoulders. You know what? Let me at least try talking to Alexander about getting you in. Really? I straighten up, hope blooming in my chest. You'd do that? Of course. You're my best friend. And I can see how much this means to you. Lori reaches over to squeeze my hand. Besides, who knows? Maybe you and Ivan will hit it off. Next time we're here getting our nails done, he might be in the chair next to us. I burst out laughing at the mental image. Yeah, somehow I don't see Ivan Sokolov as the pedicure type. My smile turns calculating. But you know who might be my way in? Anastasia. Anastasia? Lori's eyebrows shoot up. The same Anastasia who helped Kevin steal your money? Exactly. She's Ivan's daughter, and she's already proven she can be bought. Maybe it's time I turned the tables and made her an offer she can't refuse.
Hey fam, hoo-wee! Nyla is facing some really hard choices. The clock is ticking and I'm getting stressed, y'all. Also, is it just me, or does something not add up about that conversation Lori overheard between Jacob and Alexander? What are they hiding? Find out what happens next time on Say Less I Love You.